Alright guys, welcome back to VALORANT News. The Ascension playoffs continue in all the different regions around the world, but a hotly anticipated match is coming up in just under a couple of weeks' time. 100 Thieves versus Sentinels at the last chance qualifier. Complete elimination game. FNS roasts Marved a little bit about the way that he expects this one to go. Some entertaining discussions here for sure. Who are the favourites in this series? Kind of difficult to say. Very much enjoyed to hear your thoughts in the comments. Hit the like button if you enjoy. Subscribe if you're new as always, I'd greatly appreciate it. A couple of updates for you guys first of all. Firstly, BCJ, happy birthday to him turning 23. But he also does say, I thought it was kind of interesting, I will make sure to be the best player teammate I can be for my Jordan year. Maybe implies that he doesn't feel like he was the best kind of player or teammate this past year. It was a big surprise when he was benched by the Evil Geniuses team because he was one of their better players theoretically. Now yes, bringing in Demon 1 was in hindsight a no-brainer, and even at the time seemed like a good decision, but dropping BCJ for him was definitely controversial, and maybe that decision was made easier by the fact that there was maybe friction between those guys behind the scenes and BCJ wasn't being the best teammate or player that he thinks that he could be. So maybe he's going to turn that around. But also, where's is BCJ still going to be there on EG? Does he want to go and join another starting roster? Very interesting developments to be had. There's also this that was noted from tzom's stream with Nitro in the same lobby, it seems, as DSG Exalt. Now, we know that DSG are no more, unfortunately. Toast let those guys go, and they're not an organization right now. But it's possible that he's playing with these guys for whatever reason, just to get some reps, and I think he might have even been playing with Ye the other day as well. Just, I don't know, get some reps in with certain players, do a bit of IGLing, because Nitro is a little bit unsure whether he wants to do Valorant or, you know, he doesn't want to do CS anymore, right? He retired from that, and he potentially is going to return to Valorant. So, just one thing to keep a lookout for there, in terms of where Nitro might end up, especially going into next season. Let's talk about the Ascension playoffs then around the world. So going into the playoffs in the EMEA side, we have the numero uno seed and Ascension secured by Apex Mystic, right? So that's the result that they had last night. A good result against Gentlemate, a 2-0 victory. That puts them 3-0 records. That guarantees them through, no problem, through to the playoffs. And then we've got Saw and Ascend on the other side as well, also looking good to get the job done as it stands. So those would be the four teams going to the playoffs probably in a couple of days' time, unless there are some big upsets over the next little while. Also, in addition to the Ascension playoffs, there is a lot going on in the Chinese qualifiers. This was the big storyline of yesterday with this player Swirl, who was on one of the rosters we'll see in a second, getting supposedly racially abused during and after their series. After Map 2 Haven, a couple of players or managers called me a word that translates to monkey in the bathroom. They were wearing ME shirts, and that's the team that they played, we'll see in a second, and in the following map continued to make monkey noises. GG's, you played a good game, but screw you, making my LAN debut not fun at all. So this is the type of stuff that we absolutely don't want to see. It is entirely unacceptable. Now, there's no clip of this or anything, but apparently, like, he reckons that he has backup that this occurred, and either witnesses. Tournament organisers are investigating it. In person, the head tournament organiser agreed with me and even finished my sentence when I told him about the monkey noises mid-game. So this is like a crazy story, and if they found out that this did indeed occur, I don't know what the penalty would be, but the thing is that Swirl and co got knocked out of the tourney by this team. Like, they're out of it now. So, you know, would they revert that decision and forfeit the other team for this behaviour? You'd think that would certainly be, you know, a reasonable outcome here, right? But, yeah, I'll just look at a little bit more detail. So this was the match. Monarch Effect was the team in question, that ME team that he talked about. This was his team, Royal Never Give Up. And, I mean, we don't have all the stats here, but he put his team on his back, right? 60 kills, Swirl here, but, you know, he's an Iranian player. But they lost the series in the end. Bayern was pretty close, 13-11, then it was 13-6 on Haven the other way. This was apparently after this map. They took a bit of a break. Swirl went 27-12, and, well, apparently that's when the incident occurred. But then Split was pretty comfortable. Map 3 the other way, 13-2. But still, that means, based on the bracket as it stands, that that team is out. So this is the first round of playoffs, and that was a knockout round, elimination game. So Swirl's team is gone. The team that supposedly racially abused him are through, and they play, okay, tomorrow. So the tournament organisers have a little bit of time to figure out whether they want to to, you know, forfeit this team for that match, or whether there's not enough evidence. I don't know, but that's crazy stuff. We don't want to be hearing about stories like that, but unfortunately, these things seem to keep happening. Let's talk the Americas Ascension then, because a couple of massive matches last night in the first round of the playoffs. We had Fusion versus Double O Nation, an absolutely wild series, and it was great to see Fusion do well, because I mentioned yesterday that of all the teams in the South American side, the Brazilian teams have really done the best in Tier 1 and in Tier 2, and the Latin American teams lately can't seem to put that much together, but they did deliver a great result here. I mean, this is an absolute chaos, to be honest, this entire game, but Fusion get the job done 2-0, and look at this, right? I mean, this is just hilarious content with these guys. This is one of the promising, or like the exciting things about having the players so close to each other across the stage. I was hoping that we would get moments like this where both teams are just absolutely going wild at each other, and you know, some of the players are just sitting there messing with their equipment and stuff, and the other guys are going absolutely hog wild across the stage, and you know, they can hear each other, they're literally right across from each other, and these guys ended up getting the victory. So I mean, yeah, just pure comedy, it's got to be said. Entertaining stuff, and that's what makes LANs very exciting at times. But it was a 2-0 for Fusion. Double O Nation is still alive. They dropped down to the losers bracket, but pretty comfortable, 13-4, 13-11. Great result from Fusion. They will move on to play the Union, but this was then the crazy game. So M80 versus NiSMO here. And this, at this point, right, M80 are 7-7 here on splits. They're looking a little bit ropey again, it's got to be said, against NiSMO, a team they should be beating. And NiSMO just pulls this out of the bag. So, okay, an overchill there from Davids. 6 bullets only left in his Vandal here, NiSMO. Gets 1, and then the spray transfer onto Mizu there was, I mean, he had 1 bullet left in his mag pretty much, and he's got the transfer. Just phenomenal. Like, this guy is insane. NiSMO, I thought, genuinely was going to be in Tier 1 this season, right? I thought that after last year, the end of the year he had, someone was going to pick him up. Nobody did, and I mean, he's just the standout star. Like, when these guys needed a hero to step up, NiSMO delivered. They won this round, they won the next couple of rounds, they closed out game 1 39, and then dominated Lotus. Like, that might be single-handedly the moment there from NiSMO that turns this tournament around for M80, because they weren't looking so good until that moment. Like, as soon as he clutched that, then they seemingly clicked, and they ran away with game 2. EU made some nice plays, and in the end, a quick 2-0. But NiSMO, like, I mean, the ACS on this guy, we'll just look at the numbers here, right? So game 1 split obviously had that crazy clutch, 273 ACS. But game 2 Lotus, he did it again. 28-11, 436 ACS on the raise. I mean, just outrageous. Like, I know that, okay, it was NiSMO, it was the NiSMO show again, game 2, but even then, the rest of the team did look a little bit better. But still, I mean, crazy stuff. NiSMO, this guy's ridiculous. 2-0 versus NiSMO. They move on to play the Guard, and this is where we get to the bracket here. So as expected, okay, I thought Double O Nation might beat Fusion, but I still think the Union should be favored against either of those teams. So today, we get the Guard M80, and this is going to be a real interesting test, I think, in terms of, because we know these teams matched up very competitively online, but on LAN, it could be a different story. The Guard should be slightly better, I think, in this environment relative to M80, and the winner of that will probably go on to play the Union. So some really big series coming up tonight. The Guard M80 I'm very much looking forward to, because the winner of that will be the favourites from North America to take the entire thing. Before we close out though, definitely got to mention this talk on the last chance qualifier. So after the Ascension stuff concludes, then it's the LCQ. And FNS was poking some fun here at this very entertaining matchup between Sentinels and Thieves, an elimination game. Asuna, we know that these guys have a bit of banter over the last few years. FNS and Asuna, I'll put on a show for you, that's my boy, he says. But also he gives some thoughts to Marved and to others on what he's expecting from this series and who the favourites might be.
16th can't get here faster.
What the fuck?
I'm actually so excited. I've never been more excited for a match. Jimmy, let me give you the context in case you forgot. 100 Thieves and Sentinels, the two most popular teams / organizations in the North American scene for the last 2 years. And they're playing in an elimination game. One chance to make it to LCQ. Whoever loses, loses their job. That is fucking insane. Thing is, with you, Jimmy, you don't care enough to be nervous.
Nah, I really don't.
I know. The team that cares more will lose.
Mashallah.
Look at Marv, bro. Fucking so inspirational. Holy shit, this guy's gonna fry in this tournament.
Hello.
Oh, I can't wait, bro.
Every other stuff.
I've never been more excited to watch this LCQ.
It's a little weird. weird, bro.
Nah, Jimmy, it's an elimination game. It's you or Asuna.
wait, why is that funny?
I can't wait.
Focus on yourself, bro.
I can't. I can't focus on myself when this match is happening.
We're underdogs, I think.
Yeah, that's funny. 100 Thieves
Yeah.
lost to a coach, bro. You are not underdog.
What?
We're underdogs.
So I do think really, technically, Sentinels have to be the favourites. They should be better in theory. 100 Thieves have struggled lately. Like, that's absolutely guaranteed. No doubt about that one. And Sentinels probably should be the favourites in this one. And Marv seems pretty relaxed about it, right? But still, FNS is like, wow, can't wait for this one. It's going to be crazy entertaining. And as he said, I mean, what he said at the start there is pretty on the money. Whoever loses this series, now even if you win this series, it doesn't guarantee your job for next season, right? Because you could win this series, then bomb out of the LCQ and the team makes big changes. But if you lose this series, that does guarantee that quite likely you're going to be gone, because if 100 Thieves were to lose that series, they will make wholesale changes, I would say, with their roster and try and reinvigorate things for next season. So yeah, lots of pressure on this one, absolutely. Marv seems pretty relaxed about it, but yeah, definitely those guys want to see them put on a show here, and a couple of weeks away from one of the biggest games of the season so far, no doubt, especially when it's single elimination at that point in the tournament and there are no second chances. So very much enjoyed to hear your thoughts in the comments below. Hit the like button if you enjoyed, subscribe if you're new, take care, and I'll see you next time.